70% of women and 65% of men disagree that women should stay home to raise kids while the man works outside the home. Meaning more women think that it is wrong, and only 6.3% of women and 6.2% of men strongly agree that 100% confident that men should work and women should stay home. Meaning in relationship, in marriage, both the men and the women are in joint agreement that it is better for both parents to work, and that it is not the man's responsibility to provide financially. It is not the man's responsibility to lead the family, and that they are equal partners, equal roles in the marriage in terms of provision. Does that matter? I mean, is that affecting marriage satisfaction? Is that true, or is that false?
Mhm. No, I think so. But in some ways, it's a cope, and in some ways it's not, because you always hear about, well, it's the cost of living that's requiring both parties to work. But a lot of women, I think, would simply flat out refuse to downsize, because you could probably stay home with an average man's income and live in a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment, maybe have 1 to 2 children. You could do it. You could stay home, raise your kids, and keep the house. But a lot of women would refuse to. That's why I get frustrated when women want to comment about the fact that their man out earns them or something like that, because you could date a broker man, but you're not likely to do so. Or women who want to act like they're forced to work, when really, show me your credit card statements. Why are you getting a new car every couple of years? There are things that I believe, from my perception, that women are doing that are making it so that they have to be in the workplace to this degree. Aside from that, there is an element of living in a higher social status and relying on your husband that, it's legit. It exists. But to pretend that there are women out there who have this and they haven't worked for it, I would very much disagree with that, because there's a lot that you have to learn about femininity, about homemaking, and about your husband himself in order to achieve that in the first place. And if you're not accustomed to it, you're not even going to thrive in that environment. There's women that are homemakers that are absolutely miserable. They cannot adjust to it, but I think it's because they've been programmed to be workers. I just don't tend to give prescriptions about if a woman should or should not work, because I don't like to tell people what they should do with their lives. But your husband is a sounding board. If your husband asks you to quit your job, keep in mind this man loves you. There's typically a reason he's asking a woman to reduce her hours or to quit her job, and it's not to oppress her. Is because her job is soul sucking or soul crushing. And let's say they can't afford for her to quit. He'll tell her that, hey, why don't you put in your 2 weeks, and why don't you go and try to find this other job? I think you might enjoy that more. But women would rebel against that. I would say modern women would rebel against that. Why are you telling me to do this? You're trying to control me. When it's a boogeyman, because if you are a stay-at-home wife, your husband out earns you. If you do decide to leave him, you stand to make a lot more than if you were a working wife in the first place. So it's a boogeyman, it's cap, it's convincing women that they have to be out there in the workforce. There is alternatives, and you can work from home. You can go and sell insurance from Liberty Mutual from home. You can do it. I know a lot of women that work from home. I have a girlfriend. She's been married 33 plus years. She's in her 50s. She's a part-time attorney. She works on her own terms. I work on my own terms. Women just don't want to get creative, I guess, about how to make supplemental income if they're interested in it.
Yeah, it is strange to me, though, that in the midst of this as well, that 38% of women and 24% of men would actually be greatly bothered if they didn't have children, according to this poll. So about 75% of men and about 60% of women actually don't care about whether they would have children in a marriage and whether that actually matters to them. And that's not important, which kind of explains a little bit to me why these stats look the way they do, because the understanding of what the purpose of marriage is seems to be off. What is the purpose of marriage if not to have kids and to grow a family?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on the children part. Now, I know that some couples decide together that they don't want to have children, but I think that comes down to a minority. And I think that it's personality types where these folks, yeah, they could go the rest of their lives without being parents, but you at least at the bare minimum want somebody to go through life with. It wouldn't make any sense. Women wouldn't be seeing rom-coms if that wasn't the premise. But these people are just short-sighted. How does a majority of the population not want children, good luck, because we're living longer and longer all the time. We're not necessarily living healthier, but we're probably, the majority of us are going to live to be 90 as medical technologies continue to advance. And if you don't have kids, who's going to be looking out for you? And you don't have you have a short amount of time as a woman to figure this out. As a man, you've got, some ample time to sire some children. But this doesn't make a lick of sense to me at all. But I mean, I'm very forward projecting. I did an article on this as well, and it got shared on feminist Reddits. They were unhappy with me, but I called it the spinster to elder abuse pipeline, because these CNAs, it's like the daycare workers. These people don't get paid a lot. The education is minimal, and they're charged with caregiving to a large number of people. And you think that maybe not the bottom of the barrel of society ends up in these jobs? You think that maybe there might not be a malicious one or two that's going to take out their anger on you guys if no one's checking? It's preposterous. Not me. Not me. I'm having my baby right now. So.
Right. Yeah. And as we jump into this, so the rest of the show, if you guys want to watch the rest of the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, or on Rumble and you want to get the full thing, make sure that you go to elijahschaffer.locals.com, where you can get the whole podcast. And by the way, if you're not a member, you can join for free. It's a great way to support the show. You get exclusive content. But if you want to listen to the full podcast as well and get the additional questions and topics that we're about to cover with Allie, then you can also get the audio version, and that is completely free. So you can just download it at podcast wherever you want, and you can just jump right in at this time. And for those people that are not going to watch the rest of our questions that are maybe a little too spicy or a little too crazy for YouTube, where's the best place that people can find you, that they can follow you here on YouTube and track your work?
I'm at Real Femme Sapien on all major social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not making content on Twitter and Instagram right now because I'm getting ready to be a mom and I'm so excited. But YouTube is my biggest platform, so I would definitely subscribe over there. I have a lot of wifeliness content. I have panels where I invite wives. Like I said, they're married much longer than myself because somebody has to do this stuff. And it's embarrassing, in my opinion, that older women don't try to teach younger women practical things about their failures and about their successes, because I think that with the delusion that's out there, it's off the charts. Women are just getting the worst advice from other women. For example, that this has come up lately, and I'll make this very brief. Instead of telling women how to solve romantic issues in their 20s, older women are coming out and trying to warn younger women to freeze their eggs by 30 because it's cheaper. Why don't we just not get in positions to where we have to freeze our eggs? Oh, you can't give advice like that because you didn't do it. Okay. That's what's going on right now. It's madness.
As we jump into the rest of this conversation, remember, it's not just women they're trying to destroy with feminism. Men, they are trying to make you weak. And it's not just through the attacks in the media, it's also through a chemical warfare like the estrogenic chemicals that they put through microplastics and seed oils that actually end up blocking your hormones and actually deregulating your body, giving you this tired, fatigued, sort of weaker version of what God intended you to be. You might find yourself not having the muscle growth you want, the libido that you desire. And of course, they are happy about this. They continue to poison us. And we realize that this is actually happening scientifically from the data. Sperm count is down over 30% over the last several decades. And even worse, testosterone levels are shrinking by 1% year on end. If you want to reverse this factor, there's several things you can do. Number one, you've got to start lifting weights. Number two, you've got to get good sleep. You've really got to do that. And also a couple of things, including drinking water, is try Turkesterone by blackforestsupplements.com/slightly. Now, when you go to blackforestsupplements.com/slightly, you can get the Turkesterone that can help you overcome fatigue, can help increase muscle growth, and can give you that competitive edge that you might have felt like you lost as the New World Order wages war upon you. And it's absolutely amazing too, because it can also work for women because it's non-hormonal, and it's amazing. Right now, if you go to blackforestsupplements.com/slightly, that's BLACKFORESTSUPPLEMENTS.com/SLIGHTLY. Get 10% off right now, Turkesterone, for stamina increase, muscle growth increase. If you're looking to change your habits and help aid that with Turkesterone from blackforestsupplements.com/slightly. Click the link, get 10% off, and check it out.